All right.
Ready?
Yeah, welcome. We are on Facebook Live. I have no idea what number this is. I think we've done, I don't know, like 12,
Maybe
11 or 12 or something like
that.
that. So we started this Facebook Live back in September. So this is the first of those you've seen. This is something that we started.
Yeah.
I say back in September, but a year ago, September.
It was a year ago, yeah.
That we wanted to do this. At the time, it was we were pretty consistent with every other week. And we have totally fallen off of that. We haven't posted one in a couple months, I think.
Yeah, summer was messed us up a bit.
Yep. But we've got some more topics that we'd like to talk about. We do enjoy doing the videos, so we will continue to do those. Yeah, we're not quitting. We don't know how consistent they'll be going forward, but we wanted to put another one out there. And this one is on what topic?
On fiduciary. We've had a lot of prospects meetings this week, I guess. They come in, but some have been phone calls. And there's been one question that has come up very consistently this week and other weeks too, but it's just really hit us this week because we had like 3 phone calls in one day. Mm-hmm. And every phone call was, are you a fiduciary? Which has a lot of interesting nuances to it.
Yep.
So we have a very blanket answer, yes, but there's more to it than that.
Yeah, and just the question alone, like it's encouraging that people are doing research,
Mm-hmm.
And there's lots of places that you can go. And one of the people we were talking to actually pulled out the sheet, and she said, I found this on this website, and these are the questions I'm supposed to ask a financial advisor.
Yeah, it was
which is great, and you should definitely ask those questions, and we are happy to answer those. Mm-hmm. We like to see that somebody has done that research. But that one is one that we hear somebody asking, and you can sometimes kind of tell that they don't even really know what it is they're asking or why they're asking it.
They just know they should ask it.
They just know that they should ask it. They know that I should be working with a fiduciary. Right. So I want to start. I wrote up the definition of a fiduciary according to Investopedia.com, and that's a site that if you've done any kind of just Googling on financial topics, that's likely one that you've stumbled across.
Comes up a lot. Yeah, it really does.
And they've got great information on there. I've learned some things on Investopedia. So the definition here is a person or organization that acts on behalf of another person or persons, putting their clients' interests ahead of their own, with a duty to preserve good faith and trust. In other words, a fiduciary is required both legally and ethically to act in the other's best interest.
Yes, yeah.
So that's the definition.
It's pretty weighty when you hear the true definition of it, right?
Yeah.
It's our legal and moral responsibility to always do what we believe is in the best interest of a client. And the client believes too. It's really not just a judgment call. It's often pretty clear what is in their best interest.
Yeah. Yep. Now, one thing that I think we talked about and kind of wanted to clarify in this video is as great of a question as that is, we think that you could phrase that a little bit differently to get a much more enlightening answer, I guess we'll say. And the reason that we say that is because a fiduciary, that definition of a fiduciary, is actually much more broad than I think we'd like it to be. It sounds like a great thing to kind of a box to check with the advisor that you're talking to. Are you a fiduciary? Mm-hmm. But in reality, there's lots of people out there that can have what would classify as a conflict of interest, right? And that would be like, what are some examples of conflicts of interest?
In our seat or in other
in anybody that they come across.
I think it depends on one is the one I think of the most often is if you're buying an insurance product, is it the best insurance product for you, or is it the best commission for the advisor? Another one could be if someone is investing you in mutual funds, are they giving you a cost-effective, well-diversified mutual fund, or are they doing a mutual fund that will pay them an upfront commission and then back-end commissions over time?
Yeah.
And that can be. I'm not saying it's always wrong to buy what might be a great commission for somebody, but it's harder to be clear whether it's in your best interest when there's that potential conflict of interest.
Yeah. And unfortunately, the question of are you a fiduciary doesn't answer that.
It does not.
The people that are offering products that have a commission tied to them can still label themselves as a fiduciary. And really what they're required to do at that point is really just disclose that, hey, I'm being paid a commission off of any products that you buy from me. And I remember doing that as an insurance agent when I was doing that years ago is to make sure to express that, listen, these are the products that I think are in your best interest. And I believe that at the time. I truly felt that I was doing what was right for my clients. But I also had the disclosure that I'm being paid a commission based off of the product that you buy.
Right.
And it differs, depending on which product you choose.
Yeah. And I think that what feeds into this is fee only versus not.
Right. Yeah.
And there's some nuances to that. We even have people label us as fee-based, which is very different than fee-only.
Yep.
So if you're a fee-only registered investment advisory firm, you are by law a fiduciary.
Yep.
We have a legal responsibility to act in our client's best interest. A fee-based advisor also has the ability to earn commissions, and that
also fiduciaries.
They can be fiduciaries, but they also, there's some muddy waters in there.
Yeah.
And I've seen hybrids of stuff and new clients' accounts that they've gotten from an advisor who's fee-based, where they're paying for the assets to be managed, but they also have some things in there that they paid a commission on.
Yep.
And which can be fine as long as they really know what they're accepting when they sign on the dotted line, so to speak. Yeah. And so, so really the only way to truly engage with someone who's truly a fiduciary is to be fee only and to be a registered investment advisor. And so that's really where you're sort of, not that we have zero conflicts of interest, but I can only think of one. Every time someone asks me this question, I'm like, what would be our conflict of interest? Because we're only paid by clients. They can always see what that fee is. They can see the calculation. They know exactly what they're paying and why.
Yeah. And I would, in that definition too, the way Jennifer's describing it is that the fee only versus fee based from a financial advisor standpoint. But you can simplify that question if as a consumer when talking to an advisor is just asking point blank, can you describe to me all the ways that you're paid?
Yeah, that would do it. Yeah.
Just how are you paid? If I sign up, what are the ways that you actually receive revenue?
Right.
And they're required to disclose that. So if there's any kind of commissions tied or any possible commissions tied, they'll disclose that.
The somewhat painful, but the most best. Oh my.
Most best.
It's
the bestest.
Sladen. Woo! So is to read their Form ADV Part 2.
Yeah.
Which sounds like a barrel of monkeys of fun, which it kind of is, but it's the disclosure, it's the regulatory disclosure, and they have to disclose everything in there. So like ours has our fee schedule laid out, and it's very clear that there's no other methods that we get paid. So, but yeah, the only example I can think of is if someone, we were talking about this earlier, is if someone says, hey, I think I want to take $250,000 out of my account and pay off my mortgage. That's the only potential conflict of interest that I can think of.
For us.
As fee-only fiduciary advisors.
Yeah.
But because we're so dependent on planning as well, and that's such a huge part of what we do, and we're projecting forward and seeing, well, what best suits your future, and then we just frame the decision for the client that way. We're sort of pro no mortgage if you can help it, so it's sort of not really a problem for us.
Hopefully, the advice that clients get, I think adds credibility to our claim to be fiduciaries and acting in their best interest.
Yeah.
Because I think more often than not, the answer is if you can pay off the mortgage, especially when somebody's entering retirement. Early in life, it's not as important. But entering retirement to have that mortgage paid off, and that's not always mathematically the best solution.
True. Yeah, true.
mentally and emotionally, and that's often the right decision for certain clients, just because who they are.
Yes, one of the most fun I've had in recent months was a client who we figured out a way to roll over some Roth 401k money so they could into a established Roth IRA, so they could pull it all out tax free and pay off their mortgage. It was so fun because it took us a while to kind of put all those pieces in place, but it was so exciting because they had this beautiful new home and
it was paid off.
Now it's paid off.
Yep.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. So I'm gonna add a little twist to this, because
I have no idea what he's gonna say. Right?
Yeah, this is off the cuff, because there is a way to eliminate that conflict of interest as well, and that doesn't fit our business model and what we do, because there are advisors out there that are fee-only financial advisors that only charge a set rate for their services, and we charge it. And the reason that becomes a conflict of interest for us is because we charge based on the assets that we're managing.
Right.
So if a client has $200,000 in an account that is available to pay off a mortgage, if we pay off the mortgage for that reduces our fee, and our revenue goes down. So revenue speaking only, it's not in our best interest to have the client pay that off, versus a advisor that you may be working with, that you're paying a flat fee, and they come to you and say, I'll put together a financial plan for you and give you all this advice, and I'm going to charge you. I mean, it could be
some usually net worth.
Yeah. That value can be anywhere from $500 to over $10,000. It's a very wide range of what those advisors charge for that. And in that case, the advice to pay off your mortgage doesn't change that advisor's revenue.
True. Yeah.
So just with that information out there, explain why we don't do that. What's the biggest reason that's not our business model? You used to be that way when you started Summit. Was a project-based.
Yeah, it was more project-based, and there were lots of reasons that. Well, the biggest was people often have to implement their own advice, our advice in that scenario. So you put together a financial plan for them, and you say, this is how much you should be saving, and this is how you should invest it. And, you tell them exactly what funds to buy and everything. And more times than I would like, people didn't implement the advice.
Yeah.
And they would come back to me a year later, and we do a new project, and they would have either never done it, just done it right before we met, or had implemented the advice and then made changes
and then
to
deviated.
it.
Yep.
And so they weren't really benefiting from the plan. And it's very, very time intensive on our side. And it got to the point where we really wanted to dedicate our time to the people who were really more dedicated to the relationship on an ongoing basis. The other thing is, and we were talking about this just a couple days ago with a prospect, was we're doing this full time. And so sometimes there are opportunities that you need to move pretty quickly on. And the most recent example, I would say, was March of 2020, when the markets were down big time, like 40%, because of the COVID fallout, and people were afraid, and we didn't know what was going to happen. The economy was going to shut down for 2 weeks, kind of thing. Yeah. And the markets plunged. And so we were looking at it and saying, wow, the market's down as much as it was at the depth of the financial crisis. Is this really, could it go much lower? Yes, it could have. Would it stay down for a while? Yes, it could have. But we looked at it as a buying opportunity, knowing it might take a year for the markets to recover, but we probably bought in close to the bottom.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that we took an account from 100% cash to 100% equities. It's just that people that were supposed to have 60% equity suddenly had about 50.
Yeah.
And so we sold bonds and bought stocks.
Yeah, we rebalanced.
We rebalanced into the correction. And so people really, and then when things took off again, and so it really did add to returns for people. So there's no magic to it. It's just being able to react and pivot and move.
And we could do that because of an ongoing active relationship.
We had the ability to actually go into their accounts and make it happen for them. They didn't even have to talk to us for it to happen, right?
So the other business model would have required you calling all however many tens of clients.
You couldn't have done it. Yeah. It would have taken weeks.
Hey, you got to do this. Hey, you got to do this.
It would have taken weeks. Yeah, it was funny too. I had COVID at the time.
Yeah.
When it was
Yeah,
all, I
I
remember.
remember
And
being
so we're all
home
working
sick.
from home, right? I'm sitting on my back porch. It was not pretty, but it was fun because we were doing all. It was exciting.
Yeah.
So it was good. But yeah.
Yeah, so there are definitely consumers out there, and you may be one watching this video that is a very do-it-yourself oriented individual, and that may be a bit better business model for you if it's working with an advisor or somebody that you want to get a general plan that you're willing to act on yourself going forward. They're definitely I like the analogy or the comparison of like a contractor and building a house is to have business, plans put together, somebody to design a house and to put all that together, but then you're going to take it and actually build the house. There's not too many people that will do that. Not too many people that a contractor would recommend that you do that. But some people are very capable of that, and then they're okay hiring the subcontractors and getting all that work done themselves.
They are, yes. And so I do think that's a good alternative for those who don't. But they're hourly fee only advisors.
Yep.
They're still fee only fiduciary advisors that will do that for you. And I have seen sometimes in the more commission land, the fee-based area, they'll offer a free plan. And they're not nearly as detailed.
Yeah.
And don't get into the weeds like we do, not as specialized for each individual.
Yeah.
But there's lots of choices out there. It's really finding what's the best fit for you.
I would be cautious just in that terminology, and I have a couple of pros and cons of working with a fee-only advisor that we'll get into. But in what you just said there is, I remember working as an insurance agent that I provided free plans to people because I wasn't paid from my clients. I was paid the commission on the products that they bought. So I was happy to do a financial plan because my goal is to get you to purchase the products that I think make sense for you.
Right.
So just be cautious of that as well. Somebody that's offering free planning, it's maybe because they're not billing you directly for the plan, but they're getting paid somehow. So find out that where the revenue is coming from.
With the financial planning tool that we use, which I know we both have a long history with. It was a little discouraging when they built a module in that really appeared to be to help insurance agents sell more insurance. Mm-hmm. And so, there's definitely a bent towards that out there.
Yeah. So now pros and cons of working with a fee-only advisor. I saw this on another list and I thought it was good. Number one is on the pro side is unbiased advice. I think you truly are getting unbiased advice where there's no motivation for any of the advice that's being given.
Right.
I think we've talked a good bit about that. But number two, as a con, is that it doesn't necessarily mean that it's flawless advice. Things can still get missed. As fee-only financial advisors, we truly believe that we're acting in our client's best interest. I think our clients believe the same thing about us. Mm-hmm. But there's definitely things that we miss, that we don't know. We don't.
We're always learning. For sure.
Constantly.
Yeah. I think we've got the lion's share covered. Yeah. And then we just keep learning nuances.
Yeah, there's different things, even things that that you learn going forward, and there's things that we've brought up with clients, that even new tools. We have a new tool that we implemented with the tax tool recently. We haven't always had that, and that has brought along some advice that maybe other clients have not gotten in the past because we just didn't have those resources.
Right. So that's a great example.
It's not always flawless, and there are always things that you could probably do better than what you're doing now. And hopefully we can uncover.
That's what we strive to do. Get better all the time. Yeah.
Yep. The second one is costs are predictable. So that's a pro in working with the only advisor. You know exactly what they're being paid, and what fees are associated to what you're paying. Mm-hmm. The next one as a con is that costs are much more visible. Which is a good thing because you know what you're being paid, but can be a difficult thing because when you're buying a product that somebody is getting a commission on, those fees are very hidden in that product that you're buying. That commission going to the salesman or the salesperson is coming out of the money that you're paying. Mm-hmm. Oftentimes, the commission that they're paid is years worth of the fee that you're paying for that product. So as a odd example, when you buy an insurance product and you're paying $100 a month for that, the commission to the advisor for that, or the agent for that, is much more than $100. So just knowing that fee is coming out of the money that you're paying that company. They can't afford to pay those agents,
right,
except for what you're paying. So
right.
it's much more hidden.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it seems like less, because in your mind, it's my $100 is going right to the product, to the insurance product.
And that's why they have those long surrender periods. Like they need to keep that money in place long enough to earn back from you what they just paid the agent.
Right.
So yeah, it can be.
Yep. And another in that same vein is they're more visible, and they can also be more expensive too. A fee only advisor can be more expensive than commission products are working, I guess, outside of that fee only realm. And basically the big reason for that is because we have a certain dollar amount, a minimum essentially, that we need to make for it to be profitable to work with clients. Because of that, we don't have too many clients that are in their very beginning careers that are making entry level salaries.
It just doesn't make sense.
It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
because when you look at our fee compared to what they've saved or what they're earning, it's proportionately maybe more than what makes sense for them.
For sure. Yeah.
The last two are I think we've kind of covered, but one, comprehensive planning. You'll typically get that with a fee only advisor. When they're giving advice on investment choices or decisions, there's oftentimes a comprehensive plan is going to come with that. And there's really, no other way to give that kind of advice except to actually know what's going on.
Yes, for sure. Definitely. I think that's something that's kind of evolved with the industry. It used to be fee-only advisors really just managed money. In the last 20 years, it's become more and more planning as part of that, which really is where a lot of the value is, because it's really something you can't really get anywhere else. There's lots of online tools that you can use without professional help, but it doesn't have all the variables aren't properly represented in there. And so it's pretty cool that we can do that with people.
Yep, agreed. And the last one that is not I'll say is a con to what we do is that we are not experts in everything. That there's lots of areas that we do not have the expertise, and we keep bringing up the commission agents around insurance products. There is a fit for insurance products in lots of people's lives, and we are not the experts on that. So when it comes to, we have a lot of knowledge, but there are things on particular, like annuities and life insurance products that we don't focus on that, and that's not a huge
right.
So and there's a lot of those little nuances that oftentimes we need to point clients somewhere else.
For that portion of their the financial planning tools, we can say you do need this amount of coverage, insurance coverage, and we'll walk alongside you while you purchase it. We just don't sell it.
Right.
But yes, and then some of these annuity products and stuff are mind-numbing details. But but yes, I choose not to become an expert in that.
Yes. Yeah.
So, but so hopefully this helps a little bit. It's really encouraging that actually so many people are asking about fiduciaries and becoming more and more aware of fee only, because it really is sort of new.
Yeah.
Even though it's been around 25 years, it's just slowly gets more and more visibility. Yeah. But most of the general public just thinks that investment people are brokers.
Right.
Or, and so they aren't really aware of the options available to them.
Yep. Yeah. So key takeaway is continue asking the question, but rephrase it as how are you paid, and not just are you a fiduciary, because lots of people can say yes to that. But you'll get more information if you ask exactly how they're paid. I'd say shop around, get that information from everybody, us included. We love when somebody comes in and it says, okay, you're the third advisor we've talked to, or I've got a couple more that I want to talk to first, and that's great. It makes us feel even better when they choose to come with us too, because it's
but it is good because it's such a trust deep relationship, and it really is important to have someone you're comfortable with, and that's a fit for you. But yes, it is awesome when they choose us. So, well, thanks for joining us. We're back. We're back and hopefully in force, but
hopefully we can keep
holidays
these coming out.
derail us.
Yes, yeah. So thanks everybody for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.